I was looking through the box score team stats because a lot of times you can kind of tell, if you haven't watched the game, which both of us watched the game, but even this morning I wanted to take a step back and go, okay, let me just see what the box score, the team stats tell me about the game, why, some of the trends that happen. And I think there's a few things that we can pick out and say, okay, this is probably why the Tigers lost this game. But I really do think it honestly boils down to one thing, and that's that the Tigers do not have the leeway to not have DeAndre Williams playing at full power every single game. And I'm going to tell you, man, like that second half was so deeply frustrating for me with DeAndre Williams because Christian, he went into the half with 0 fouls.
Yep. Played a really clean game in the first half.
0 fouls, Christian.
Yep.
And he fouled out.
Mm-hmm. Still found a way to foul out.
I mean, that is absurd. And I
have a question on this though. Like, yes, I agree. He gets carried away sometimes. But do you think some of it is just he's marked? Because there were some there was I think 2 that were just ghost fouls. Like I feel like the target is on his back when it comes to officials, right? When we talked about this, like they watch the games, they have their players that they know foul a lot, and so they're going to be extra keyed in on a guy like DeAndre Williams because he does foul so much. And so I believe, and I'm not saying that he doesn't play out of control sometimes because he absolutely does. He wouldn't foul this much if he didn't. But I do think that there is a bit of a, he gets a bit of an unfair shake at times because he's known for fouling so much. And like I said, there was at least 2 last night where it was like, oh, that was pretty ticky-tacky. But he has to know that. He has to know that because he has fouled so much that refs are going to be keeping an extra eye on him.
College refs are bad, honestly.
Bad.
And I think,
oh my gosh, it's so bad.
the AAC college refs are really, really bad. They tend to assume contact before it actually happens.
What was worse, the South Florida game or the Tulane game?
Man, honestly, I don't have much. I look at refereeing right now. It's just terrible across the board. So in terms of like judging which one was worse, I was at the South Florida game. I wasn't at the Tulane game. It felt like to me the Tulane game was worse, but
in the South Florida game, like, and I'm not trying to disrespect Tyler Harris at all, but he is so known for just wildly driving down the lane and throwing up some crap.
Oh yeah.
And he did that all game. And I'm like, guys, and like you said, assuming fouls, like every time he would drive down the lane into 4 or 5 people and just throw up a shot, foul.
Right.
And it's like he's not even going at the basket with the intent to score. He's going at the basket with the intent to jump into people and throw the ball up and draw a foul.
The commentary team,
it's just so bad.
I don't know how you felt about the commentary team from last night, but I think his last name is Crispin. Is it Dave Crispin? Is that his name? The color guy that was on ESPN last night?
Possibly.
I really liked him. He talked about how what he sees in college basketball in the rules committees is this idea that you've got to legislate everything that happens on the court to the point where you remove the ability to actually play the game, to gain a flow, and I agree with that. Like, for instance, the DeAndre Williams technical foul in the first half, when he went up to dunk the ball and they called him, it was a class B, whatever technical foul. They called him for hanging on the rim.
Yeah.
It's the stupidest call I've ever seen. Like, just call a basket interference and move on. Like, why are we calling that a technical foul and giving them points at the other end of the floor for a by the word, like, rule of if you hang on the rim, you get a technical foul. Well, everybody knows he didn't hang on the rim to flaunt. Like, we know what the intent and meaning behind hanging on the rim. You don't want somebody doing pull-ups on the rim, flaunting and taunting and stuff like that. And I understand that. I still think all that can still stay in the game. I love that stuff. I don't even think you need to legislate against that. But that's
Agreed.
not what DeAndre Williams was doing. He was running full speed at 6'9" down the floor, jumped, tried to dunk the ball. If he didn't hang on to that rim, his body would have flown him into the stands in Tulane. He was a protection thing, and instead they called it a technical foul on him. And I'm like, okay, you realistically could have just called that a basket interference and moved on, right? Not and just given him the ball, like say no basket, take the ball out. The problem is that it's the reffing is so bad, but DeAndre now has played college basketball for so many years that he understands that it's that bad. And it's not the fouls that he gets inside the lane that bother me. It's not the aggressive, like I'm trying to rebound the ball, or I am being posted up by a big man who I need to stop. Kevin Cross, I need to, like, of course, there's going to be times where you foul the guy. He's going to take the ball and body you up, and you're probably going to get a foul called on you. It's those silly ones where he gets caught at the 3-point line, at the half court line. Yeah. It's like, listen, man, if you're a big man, you should probably end the game with 3 or 4 fouls every single game. Right. But it's when you start picking up those little silly ticky-tack fouls that are clearly coming from a frustration of I missed a shot, or we didn't do this right, or we didn't do this right, and a response, a reaction. That's where I get frustrated with DeAndre. And it just blows my mind that he ended the first half with 0 fouls and ended up fouling out of the game, Christian. Like, and that to me is that I say all that to say we started this whole discussion about this because the Tigers don't have the leeway to lose a guy like DeAndre Williams.
You don't have Malcolm Dandridge to come in and play minutes.
You don't have that. Even if Malcolm was still playing, you have to have DeAndre. Yeah. You have to have DeAndre. Because as much as I love Chandler, as much as I think KO could potentially do some things for the Tigers at some point in his career. Chandler does, if he gets the ball what he's good at is rebounding, high post to low post, kind of passing the ball, and every once in a while cutting to the basket and getting a layup. He's not your banger.
Shot blocking last night too.
Good at shot blocking. Good call. But those are the kind of things that, like, this team does not have the leeway. Yes, they are a talented team, but the Tiger team does not have the leeway, they don't have the wiggle room to lose a guy like DeAndre Williams to 5 fouls in less than 15 minutes. Like, they just can't do that. They just can't. And that to me is what lost them the game last night. Is we can sit here and we can talk about all the stats and everything that happened, and all that's true. But they cannot lose a guy like DeAndre in a game like that, in a tight game like that, against a team that is good. Tulane will be a good team. They are not good. They have not had, their record does not show that they are a good team, but I can guarantee you by the time we hit February, March, Tulane will be right up there. I think in the conference standings. You cannot lose a guy like DeAndre.